They've come all the way from America, from Atlanta, Georgia. What the customer wants is new soles, because they're worn out, they've dried out, they've gone hard. We're going to give them a good clean. Going to put some colour back into them. They've gone a little bit dry. You can see them starting to crack. Bits of stitching coming undone. We've got the yellow stitching around the welt, which is dirty. It's just full of crap. And we've got these big gouges at the front. So I'm going to tidy all them up, get rid of these laces, put some new laces in. We're also going to have a look inside, because the insides have gone a little bit hard. See if we can do anything with that. The other thing that I want to do, so we get a lot of, well, you see a lot online of the Made in England. These are the Marten Gibsons, and what I'm going to do is when I take these soles off, we're going to compare them to a pair which are made in Thailand. I'm going to have a look, see what the differences are. So, right, let's crack on. Right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get rid of these laces, because they're old and tight and they're triple knotted, so they're impossible to get off. And what we'll just do is just cut these off. There we go, get rid of them. Oh, morning. Cheers. Get rid of them laces, get rid of these. So these Marten Gibsons are steel toe capped. So when you look at the profile from this side, you can see the steel. And how it just bulges up a little bit more. And they're super hard. They also want to have a look. It'd be interesting to see whether we've got a wooden shanking. Now, I've only ever done one pair that have had a wooden shanking, and that's a previous video we've done, which was the Marten Southerners, which were bought in, I think he says, the gentleman said 1980s, and we got them all the way from, they were sent all the way from Germany, if I remember rightly. Another thing that I've noticed is, if we have a look at these, you can see that this welt has been double stitched, so there's two lots of yellow stitching, which is something else I haven't seen before. And that goes all the way around. But on the oxblood pair, just got single stitching. There's a couple of double stitching there, but that's where it just overlaps, which is usual. Right, so the next thing we're going to do is we need to get rid of these soles. So the way we get rid of the soles is we just take about an inch down off the toe, and we'll take it down to where this black bit is, which is your welt. Don't want to be going any further than that welt. We'll take that off, and then we get the knife. I'm going to use our Opinel knife, and then we'll cut away the rest. So let's move over to the machine. Hold on while we're at it. Right, let's carry on. Right, so we've taken the soles down. Now we need to get them on the last and start whipping them off. The other thing I want to show is this. When we take them down on the machine, they turn. It's basically hot plastic melting, and you have to be careful. Like that's red hot, and it doesn't melt to your skin. And you can see, might be able to see the steam coming off that red hot stuff. Right then. Right, so we're gonna start cutting these soles off. Have a look.
Towards them was inappropriate. But for those of us who have campaigned with them, worked with them, cared for them, and considered him a friend, and who now stands unfairly accused of plotting against him.
I think there may be a shank, but I could be wrong. Get these off.
Just from what he told me, that his behaviour was not always appropriate. And yet,
Now the reason, there's the pad, which they're always different, these, every time. Sometimes you get these thick felt ones, sometimes they're made of something like that, which is like a foam. This one feels like it's, I've no idea what it's made of. New one. Carry on getting these off. Can't see a shank, though there might not be one. Carry on going down. Take these. Nope, no shank. It's hidden. Oh, there is. There's a wooden shank. There's a wooden shank, but it looks broken. So we will try, when repairing shoes, you want to try keep them as original as possible without adding too much, and well, that's what we like to do anyway. So we'll try and reuse it again. If not, we'll have to get another one, a new one in. Nearly there. There we go. Alright, let's rip this out. This is like a felt material. Knife. Oh, it's broken. And glue. So what we'll do is we'll try and get find a fresh one of these. That is knackered, which is a shame. And we'll glue a new one back in. And that sits in there to support your arch. I mean, they don't use them in the new ones because I can guarantee there won't be one in there. I think Doc Martens say that they don't need them anymore. But if you're making hundreds of thousands of Doc Martens and you're not putting them in, you'd save yourself a fortune. But that's just my guess. And that's how I forget. That's one of the Oxblood ones. I won't show you all of these because it's the same for all of them. I'll tell you what, let's take this one off. Right, back. So, let's get this one out. And there's the spongy pad for this one. There we go. That's another one off, so if I lift this up, I can guarantee there'll be no shank. Hiya! Yeah. Right, I'm back. Just had an influx of people into the shop, so if we lift this up best we can, it might be gripping and turning. There we go, no shank at all, just a piece of this foam that they use. You can see in the old made in England ones, got like this felt material, and then we've got this foam material which you see in all the new ones. Right, so I'll get the other ones off and then I'll show you what we do next. Right, so I've got all the soles off. Just need to take the excess down on the machine now. Even though these are the same pair of shoes, just different colours, and one of them's double stitched, the Oxblood ones, you know, came with the shank, the felt, and then these two big padded for the sole. The green ones, however, they came with felt, then the shanks, but the difference in size in the pads are completely different. So what I'm going to do is get rid of them. Well, I'm not going to get rid of them. I'm going to keep them because they might come in handy one day. We've got this material, which is very similar. We're gonna cut a couple of them out, make some fresh ones, and then we'll use them on the green ones. That'll be best because I'm not going to reuse them again. Not on these anyway. The other thing I wanted to show you was the build is from the ones made in, is it Thailand? So the ones that are made in Thailand, the build quality is exactly the same. Exactly the same. If anything, if I wanted to be really picky, is on the older ones, we could say the stitching isn't as perfectly equal. So they got about a centimetre, a centimetre, a centimetre. Then round here we're going at about half a centimetre. On this black pair made in Thailand, it's equal all the way around.
Solid heel. Yeah. No, like rubber. We'll just stick with rubber then. Doesn't have too far down anything. No, that's fine. That's fine. We'll stick with rubber. Like, it's 20. Yeah, just like that, yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah, just 10 till 4 Monday till Saturday. There you go. Excellent, yeah, pop that Friday on. Thank you, cheers.
Double pair. Running out of room. Yeah, so as I was saying, the stitching is perfect in equal measure all the way around, and then same on this one. But the build quality exactly the same, and these you can see stitching around the outside, and then you can see it coming on the inside, and it's nice and tight. It's not flimsy, it's not going anywhere. Right, so the next job is we're going to take the excess off, and while we're at it, we'll rough all of our Doc Marten soles. They come smooth on this side, so what we need to do is rough these up. It has this inlay in here, which is where these will sit in quite nice. Gives you a little bit of a curve, a little bit of padded area as well. Right, so let's do that. Right, so we've got the shanks back in, some fresh shanks. fresh felt, well the same felt. We've roughed our Doc Marten soles up, so they're nice and rough and ready. I've made some new inserts which will sit inside here, and that just ever so slightly more raised, and then we can get a nice curve on the sole. So we're going to get everything glued up, then we'll let them dry. Now usually with glue you let it go sticky and wait until it's nice and tacky. With the glue that we use, we let it go completely dry. So you could put the two sides together completely dry, and they won't stick. They won't even be tacky. And the glue we use is heat activated as well. So we'll warm it up. Then what we like to do as well is warm the sole up. We don't want to get them too hot. If you get them too hot, they fall off. Too cold, they fall off. So you just got to get the temperature on the sole and on the unit just right, and they'll stick perfect. So that's our next job. So it's time to get the soles on the docks. I've already done the oxblood pair, so that's with them on. Have I got a customer coming in? Maybe. So this is the oxblood pair done. Just going to let them settle now for a couple of hours before we start trimming around them, because they're still a bit warm. They stay warm for a while once they're on. There's the other one. Here's our Vietnam pair. They're on. They've gone quite cold now because I did them a while ago. So let's get this heated. Getting it warmed up.
The very generous schemes we've seen for the best part of the last year out to September. I think that's very.
So what I like to do, I like to get the unit, start getting the unit nice and warm, and then I'll put the shoe under the lamp, start getting the shoe warm, get the welt nice and warm, and then we'll push them together. And while I'm at it, I'll get them warmed up. Some ladies' heels as well.
Picture should look like and how you can really build on those foundations to drive a recovery from the economic crisis we've seen from the pandemic, and how that can deliver what the Chancellor, what the Conservative Party government has really called for in terms of levelling up the UK. And I think that for me is the big absence here. Any clarity about what that levelling up will look like in the future.
And what would you like it to look like? What do you think it should look like?
I mean, that's the key question, yeah? I mean, we've heard about this phrase, levelling up, but what exactly does it mean? I don't think anyone really knows. And I think, for me, that's the first thing that the government really needs to put some clarity on. What does levelling up mean? Now, if you ask me, this is not a question of making sure that productivity or output in the north of England is closer to that in London and the southeast. That, I think, is far too simplistic. If you look at the data, what you see is that right across the country, whether that's
there we go, so we're nice and warm, soles are nice and warm.
northeast of England, whether that's
We'll start from the back.
Wherever you are in the UK, there are huge
Get them
problems
centred.
with innovation, huge problems, areas, communities that need levelling up. So very much this is about ensuring that we're talking
pushing them
about
on.
local areas, not just this kind of broad geographical.
Alright, back again. So, and that is the green pair on. So we're going to let them settle, and then we can start trimming around them. Just gonna pinch around them with the pincers. Get that really tight around the welt. We never use, because Doc Martens are so flexible, it's very, very rare we use the press with the Doc Martens, just because you can start stretching and it just makes a mess. There we go. So we've got the green pair, we've got the oxblood pair, and we've got the pair from Vietnam. So we'll let them settle and we'll trim round them. Right, so the soles have settled on the Doc Martens now. So I've left the green ones, which I'll show you what we're going to do, but this is going to be the outlook. So new soles, trimmed all the way around, right to the welt, and then we go around with a Doc Marten trimmer, then a bit of brown polish just around the sides, because they were brown originally. So we'll do the same with these and show you what we do. Right, so we want to take it down so it's nice and smooth, but obviously we need to put those Doc Marten grooves in. So this is my Doc Marten groover. So we only got this about 2 years ago, and to be perfectly honest, we didn't even know it existed. It was only by chance we managed to get hold of one. Best money ever spent. So once it's smooth, set it back on the machine. That's on. Now, with the Doc Marten groover, because the guard's up here, it just spits hot pieces of Doc Marten at you. So luckily, well not luckily, but with COVID about, and all these face masks about, and face visors, they've come in handy to stop you getting bits of Doc Martens in your eye. So we'll put the grooves around this one, and we'll probably leave these green as well because they match the uppers then. Right, there we go. Little Doc Marten grooves all the way around. So I'll finish the last one off and then we'll get on to cleaning them. Right, so I've left these over the weekend. They've glued really well, stuck down. Now we need to move on to cleaning them, put some colour back in, clean this stitching up best we can. So what I'm going to use for these is, so on the green ones I'm going to be using a Sapphire. The oxblood ones I'm going to use the oxblood shoe wax. Cleaning them we usually use saddle soap, but on these they're not actually too dry, they're quite soft still, and they're not too grubby, too dirty. So I'm going to be using combi cleaner. So we can use this on leather, suede, carpet, you can use it on anything, this stuff, it's brilliant. Sponge to clean. Once they're cleaned and they've dried off, what we can usually do with these gaps and dents is we can usually sand it, give it a light sand, smooth it out, recolour it, and you'd never know it was there. But because these are a steel toe cap and the majority of the damage on all of them is done to the toe cap, I don't really want to be taking any more off this bit, because if they start getting chipped again you'll just eventually get through to the toe cap faster if I've sanded them down a little bit. I've got my lighter to just singe some of these edges. What else do we need to do? Oh, and then I've got my my Sapphire Reno mat. We use, I need to get some more of this, it's running out, but we use this stuff on the stitching. It's quite harsh, quite strong, but it cleans the stitching up really well. Right, let's make a start. So start with the green pair. So this is the green. The other thing that I've noticed with the older Made in England, or with these in particular anyway, the Made in England ones, the welt is a lot narrower than your more modern Doc Martens. Which, I mean, you can just see there, there's only, I'm just trying to get another pair to show you, but there's the really narrow, really narrow, because we don't really take too much off when we're going round. If we have a look at these, I mean, these are a lot different, but that is just, it's miles bigger, pretty much fit my thumb on there. And we'll get started on cleaning them.
you, the nicest thing about Megan was that she is her love of animals. She does have a love of animals, but doesn't want to spend animals.
Is there a property sanctuary in Bath?
I don't think there is, no, but that didn't seem to.
Right, next job. Got all these little bits of threads just dangling off, so we're just going to singe some of these, just go around the outside. Maybe just a little bit down here as well before we clean down here. Let's get these.
I would quite like to know why you Lee is in work. No, Richard is in people. Richard, why did you care so much?
Right, so let's keep the two left ones, and then I'll get them polished, and we'll compare. Now, most of the time, if people just polish the shoes, just nourish the leather, they would last a lot longer than what they normally do. So with this one, I'm going to be using my Sapphire Pomade cream. Now this is like the Rolls Royce of shoe care, and you'll find that the majority of cobblers and shoe shiners will be using the Sapphire. So let's start with the green ones. Right, let's try again. This is the problem with trying to record videos. When you're open, and you're one of the only shops open in town. Right, so as I say, I'm not going to do much with these, because the thinner we make this, the quicker the customer will end up getting through to the steel bit. So let's start putting some of this stuff off. There we go. You can see straight away it starts covering it.
dancing with the devil, but he doesn't have a back, no, no. My body never know. I keep dancing with the devil, but he doesn't have a back, no, no. My body never know. I keep dancing with the devil, but he doesn't have a back, no, no. My body never know. I keep dancing with the devil, but he doesn't have a back, no, no. My body never know. I keep dancing with the devil, but he doesn't have a back, no, no. I keep dancing with the devil, but he doesn't have a back, no, no. You know my body never know. You know my body never know. You know my body never know. My body never know. I keep dancing with the devil, but he doesn't have a back, no, no. My body never know. I keep dancing with the devil, but he doesn't have a back, no, no. My body never know. I keep dancing with the devil, but he doesn't have a back, no, no. My body never know.
Right, so we've finished the Doc Martens. They've been cleaned, new soles, been cleaned, polished. Then I've just finished going around the yellow stitching. I didn't capture the yellow stitching because my GoPro went dead. I didn't realise. They turned out really well. I've just glued part of those heel linings down again. Yeah, they've come out really well. So I'm hoping the customer's going to be very pleased with them. They're a good shoe, these. Solid construction. Very close up.